The problem with the scheme lies is if it doesn't provide a level playing field to political parties, and B, if it suffers from opacity, as the argument for the other side is. This is not to prevent the legislature or the executive from coming out with a scheme which deals with these deficiencies.
Confidentiality goes.
No, it may be that the confidential, we are not saying what it should be. That's no part of our function.
That's not.
That's not a part of our function. But, and two very important things. Maybe the earlier scheme failed. Maybe it didn't get you as much of white money into the electoral funding as you would otherwise have liked to do. But look at the safeguards in the scheme, in the earlier provisions. A cap on how much of your net profits you can contribute. One.
I have an answer to that.
Two, a disclosure within your own accounts, and therefore to your shareholders, that this is the political party to whom we are contributing. What we are now doing is that in the effort to bring in white money into the electoral process,
yes,
essentially we are providing for a complete an information hole.
Can I respond?
That is the problem. The question, the motive may be perfectly laudable, no question about it. Question is whether you have adopted means which are proportional, or do the means meet the test of Article 14.
I take it, my lords.
Yes.
So that I am not discouraged, that your lordships are just putting to me what is their contention.
Obviously, that's why I am hearing you. Our views are never final until the last word in the case.
I know that, my lord, at 3 o'clock, my lord, it's too much of a seriousness, my lord. I wanted to break that seriousness.
Mr. Solicitor, our word is the last word, actually only when the judgment
is delivered. I know, I know.
In fact, even after arguments conclude, we are all involved in parleys and discussions between ourselves. Formally
this was just, my lord, to break, my lord, that aura of seriousness.
And us putting questions is getting...
To get the answers. I understand, my lord. I have appeared before your lordship on hundreds of times. I'm just on the lighter side. I wanted to, my lord. So, my lord, your lordship's, my lord, concern is right. But when I explain the scheme, your lordships would find that anything else other than keeping it confidential, my lord, will not be able to address the problem of victimization. And victimization incentivizes payment by cash.
Oh, here, just one caveat over here.
Yes.
Victimization and retribution is normally by the party in power.
Yes. Yes, ma'am.
Not by the party which is in opposition.
Lord, the opposition may come back in power after a month. Lord, I'll just, Lord.
So, but the figures which you are saying, that the maximum donations which are on paper, which are accounted for, are to the party in power and not to the party in opposition, may not therefore be logically flowing from that argument.
No, I am pointing this out, my lord, only to satisfy your lordships, my lord, their argument that because of this scheme, maximum money goes to a ruling party. I am just trying to, my lord, show to your lordship there is a trend, whether it is this scheme or prior to that.
Just one more question, and thereafter the field is up to you. The other issue is, which is because of selective confidentiality. Now, what happens is when the selective confidentiality as far as donations to the opposition party is concerned, there are ways and means to get that information. And it's easier for the party in power to get that information. Let's put it very frankly. You've been very frank on the first aspect. Let's be also very frank on the second aspect. Now, what is the fear is, because of this selective confidentiality, the opposition parties do not know who are your donors, but donors to the opposition party can be ascertained, at least by the investigating agencies.
Lord, I'll just tell you, Lordship. Lord,
so they are put at a disadvantage to question you on your donations, whereas their donations get questioned.
I'll just, Lord, answer that question. You will have to trust, we will have to trust at some stage someone as the final fiduciary position capacity, authority. Second, Lord, nobody has so far taken your lordships through the scheme and how the scheme operates. That's what, my lord, I intend to. Lord, possibly this may not be 100% foolproof scheme. Lord, there may be out of 100, 5 people which my lord, the Chief Justice, my lord, indicated. They might misuse it. But suppose I am a genuine person who wants to contribute without any retribution. Lord, I'll just give an example. I don't wish to give any example of a live election, my lord, but imagine a state which is where election process is going on. Party A is in power, party B is likely to be in power, and both are neck to neck. As a contractor, my lord, I would like to, my lord, contribute to both the parties, because I know that there is 49% possibility of party B coming into power, and therefore I will have to be my lord, contributing to them. I am on practical lines without being idealistic, etc. I'll come on transparency, informational privacy, etc. But let us take it on a practical plane. Either way, my lord, I will be incentivized to give cash, because I do not know whether B will form the government after a month, and I do not know whether A will continue to be in the government after the month. Either of the way, my victimization and retribution will continue. So the only incentive is to pay by cash. Nobody knows what I pay. As against that, I will explain in the scheme that nobody can come to know, including the central government. Including the central government, I'll be able to show from the scheme that every provision is made with some intention, some rationale, some justification, and some purpose to prevent some malpractice in mind.
But retribution is not avoided by this scheme. I'll tell you the simple reason for it. Under the Companies Act as now modified, a company is not required to disclose to which political party it has contributed, but it has to disclose how much it has contributed totally. So companies, say a large public limited company says, I have contributed 400 crores this financial year, right? Now, the party, including a party in power, whether in the state or in the center, knows how much has come to it in terms of electoral bonds from that particular company.
It can never know. Therefore, allow me.
No, the party, of course, it knows.
If the donor discloses
party ABC, yes. Party ABC knows how much has come from this company into its coffers. You also know from the company's balance sheet how much it has contributed in a macro sense. So that balance sheet no longer discloses to whom it has been contributed. That mismatch is sufficient to know as to how much money has gone to the party in power. So it's not that the possibility of retribution is averted by this scheme.
So far as possible. But, my lord, after I explain the scheme to your lordships, my lord, your lordships perhaps may have a rethink on this, my lord, apprehension. Because otherwise, my lord, I asked them, what is a better solution? Reverting back to the earlier incentivized black contribution scheme? No, that's again a question. Out of 100, my lord, everybody doesn't pay by 400 crores. Lord, they pay 5
Mr. Sharma, what is the better solution is for Mr. Sharma to answer.
Pardon, sir?
That's for Mr. Sharma to answer. Even if we have some answers or questions, we will not answer that because we are restrained by judicial review.
Fine. My lord, just to show that between 2004-5 to 2014-15, it's not because of the scheme, but because of the trend, because of the consistent practice of the contributors that, my lord, so-and-so party got, my lord, maximum, then the second, then the third. My lord, they know who is going to be in power. My lord, they are better judges, my lord, than of the electoral process, then, my lord, the common man or those who contribute, but they know that where to invest their money. And I'm using that expression, my lord, which I should not have used. Now, please come to page 113. Page 113, income of political parties from unknown, known, and other sources. But here there was a complete anonymity or opaqueness or confidentiality, whatever name we may use, because once I pay in cash, I have no difficulty at all. Nobody can find out what money I have paid to Congress, what money I have paid to BJP or TMC, anyone. Complete immunity from retribution or victimization. 471 crores. They say that we don't buy electoral bond. They better start buying electoral bond. And I'll point out, I don't wish to go into it, what is the source of their funding. Then, my lord, known sources. Please see, my lord, for the last party, my lord, 15.04. Known sources, 15.04. They are running a government. And other known sources, 406 crore. And what is other known sources, my lord? Please, my lord, kindly see the fourth column. Other known sources. What happens when they don't buy the electoral bond, my lord? My last political party. Other known source, my lord, your lordship gets. But this is 406 crores. My lord, I have their balance sheets. Other known source means membership fees. And membership fees is more than double than my lord, both the national parties, BJP and Congress. They have kind of a bucket collection. There are several things, my lord, which the best thing to do is, my lord, to ensure that they get electoral bonds, my lord. Then only, my lord, this kind of a situation, my lord, please see the chart below. Regional parties, my lord. Now, the interesting figure. I will not take your lordships to examples of each of the parties, but see the first party. Unknown source, 766.27 crores out of total, please see, 819 crores. Last column is total. So out of 800 crores, 766 crores is unknown sources. Maybe out of 100, what your lordship say, in 2 cases, it may be true. But otherwise, this is the position.
In the other known sources, when they submit to the ECI, they give the names of the persons? No.
Yes, I think so, yes.
They give the names of the persons?
They give the names. 1,50,000.
For CPM, I'm not speaking.
No.
CPM, I'm just saying that it's a sort of.
Let CPM defend itself. You need not bother. CPM is very much here.
Please.
You can rest assured, he will competently defend it.
Interestingly.
I didn't name the party, my lord. Name any political party, my lord. That well, I didn't want to politicize it, but it was necessary for me to give these figures to your lordships. That if confidentiality
the Malays is agnostic to political parties,
Yes.
whichever side of the spectrum you are.
Yes, ma'am.
The Malays affects the entire spectrum. So we're not here saying that a particular political party is holier than the other. I mean, we have a problem.
That's a problem which we are grappling with.
And this figure which you have said, we'll again not say more than that, is 2004-5 to 2014-15.
That's all. But I also didn't say anything. I only highlighted the period that this was, even prior, this was the trend.
Your chart was not lost to us.
I'm grateful, man. And the chart which Mr. Bhushan's client should have placed. It is his chart.